Three, two, one. I think we're live. Where's the little yellow button? We always wait for that, and it looks like it says live. So, hey, internet friends, this is Magic Brad, Synergy Cafe, and the Synergy Collaborative. And looks like I'm going solo today. Normally I have a guest on, and Preston, he may be tuning in later. He may be running into some internet connections because he's down in Honduras. But today I wanted to talk about some of the new projects that we're pulling together, and what it does, it involves people that have a specific interest or specific expertise in certain methods of marketing and advertising and promoting and getting things out there via the internet. And the focus is the industry of travel, hospitality, and tourism. So we've met a couple different people like Julie. I believe she's a Skype expert. She teaches people how to use Skype for business. So if a resort owner wanted to show off their property with they could actually take their cell phone and connect via the Skype app, and they could showcase their property and the beaches and things of that sort. We also have a SEO person that is really good at getting that search engine optimization up. So if there's say a tourist attraction that's looking to attract people from a specific geographic area or within like certain keywords, say for the meetings, conventions, special events industry, you know, if you use the hashtag event profs or meeting profs, you'll reach people in areas, the Meeting Professionals International or the American Society of Association Executives. You'll reach that audience via Twitter and some of the other people that use those hashtags. Another person we've got is someone we just met last night. He does sales training. So he teaches either business owners to do their own sales, or if they outsource that or have their own sales team, he trains those people. And talking with them last night, telling them that we are focusing on the hospitality, travel, and tourism industry. I said, wouldn't you just love to be contracted to go down to some exotic resort and do sales training there? So he was kind of excited about that idea. Who else did we? Oh, there's a writer. His name is David Leonhardt. And he is a writer and also has been in the travel industry. So he understands the key words that get used when he's writing blog posts and article content and things of that sort for that specific industry, you know, because there's certain words like, again, if you're dealing with corporate, there's things like fam trips or spousal tours and things of that sort. So those are things that people need to know when they are writing content, rather than just hiring someone just to write for the purpose of writing. It's nice to know that they have some kind of goal and objective in the content they're creating. So I'm not gonna do this webinar very long. I'm not sure if I don't see any questions or anything. Like when we do these webinars, it's not so much the people that are actually attending in person live right now, but it's what happens with these, because we use Webinar Jam, and Webinar Jam is the interface into Google Hangouts, and Google Hangouts is connected to YouTube. These webinars get uploaded to YouTube, and then we propagate that out on platforms, on blogs, and we use a program called Staged that gets that information out to different Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter accounts. So that's a little bit about the process. And as far as a call for experts, we're seeking other people that have an expertise. Like I did meet someone else that has an expertise in LinkedIn. They know how to utilize LinkedIn, and that's their specialized focus. They teach people how to use LinkedIn, and again, spinning that towards the travel, tourism, and hospitality industry. So if you know of someone that has an expertise, maybe someone that knows how to host a retreat or promote a retreat or create content for a retreat, or if you know of someone that has, again, an expertise that's focused on helping the people in the travel, tourism, and hospitality industry. There are people that use that Periscope app. I just saw, I think his name is David Adler. He has a company, I think it's called BizBash. They were around a long time ago, and they're still around, but their claim to fame was they did all their marketing through the internet. And I saw him using that program called Periscope, which is an app on your phone, and he was out at his event, I believe it was out on the West Coast, introducing the staff to people before the event, which doing it via his cell phone, which I think is pretty cool. He went around and talked, and hey, Tammy, how are you? And Tammy was putting together the lanyards and the badges for the conference, and other people putting together the 3-ring binders and the booklets for the conference, and he was introducing, you know, there's Tammy, there's Steve. So the attendees for the event were actually meeting these people virtually in person, because they were going to meet them live and in person, but they got to meet them in advance. So I think that's a real cool technology. And then I wish Preston was here. He could share a little bit about his video cameras. He promotes webcams. They're high definition webcams, which is great for like a resort owner or someone that's got a visual tourist attraction. These are real-time cameras that are placed up and pointing to the destinations, so you can show off your beach or your activity that's going around in Times Square and things of that sort. And he looks like I just got a Skype announcement from Preston, so he might be tuning in here, which would be kind of cool to have him back. I'm going to go on here and invite him so that he knows. Preston. And I'm going to send him the link on Skype. Oh, he is there. He's here. I can't hear him, though. But he is tuned in. Can you hear me, Preston? Looks like he's nodding. I can't tell if he can hear me or not. Looks like he's tuning in. He might have been out running around, running errands. But as Preston tunes in here, I was just talking about Preston and his high-definition webcams. And he represents the United States and the Honduras area. And down in Honduras, there's an area called Roatan, which is, surprisingly enough, it's the second largest barrier reef in the world, next to the Great Barrier Reef. And he has cameras there that showcase some of the dive areas for some of the dive resorts. So if a diver was in, you know, someplace else in the world, oh, I can kind of hear Preston's keys.
Here we go.
Preston?
Can you hear me now?
He is here.
All right.
We were just talking about you. Or I was. I'm not sure who's listening, but I was just talking about you. I was talking about your high-definition webcams. You there? Oh, sound is gone again. That's part of the challenges when you're living in some of those other countries like Honduras. The internet connections are not always as good as they could be. But I'm going to go on a little bit here. I don't want to, maybe another 5 minutes if I can.
Hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can.
I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, there's Preston. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we were talking about the high definition webcams. They definitely are high definition. It's kind of the biggest view you'll ever see is when you go on the bottom right hand corner. You can click onto it and it can become like a screensaver. And it's high definition.
Okay.
So,
well, we were just talking about that, and I talked a little bit about what we're doing with the collaborative and bringing in some other experts and things of that sort to help these resort owners and people in the hospitality, travel, and tourism industry get their marketing out via the internet.
right.
Because, you know, the old methods don't work, and, you know, we can get into that topic a little bit. There's some great things like Kayak and TripAdvisor and Travelocity and all these things, but the part of the challenge with that is you are mixed in with all of the other destinations all over the world. So you end up being like a bottle cap floating in the ocean.
That is true. And I know, you know, trying to get your name out there with all the other people out there, it's very competitive. There's no question about that. It's almost like being in Yellow Pages.
Well, I was just listening to a video webinar. Remember that guy we had met inadvertently? He somehow came onto one of our webinars, and he has this service that, what was his name again? It was another David, I believe.
David, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Reinhardt or something like that. Something.
No, David Kirkaby.
No, I was talking about a different David. The one that X3 something iOS X3.
Oh, Note X3, yeah. And Dave, My gosh, we just met him too. I can't
And his
remember.
name is David, isn't it?
I think so.
So we got David Kirkeby, David Soliday, and now this other David, and
Yeah.
then David Leonhardt.
Yeah, there's a lot of Davids.
Yeah, so we're running into a lot of Davids. That's interesting. But so this video this guy was talking about, he was talking about exactly what we're talking about, is using video and engaging with real people.
Yep.
This guy claims that he doesn't even use a database. He just uses his followers on Google Plus and Twitter and things, and that's his database. They're
Sure.
on those platforms, and that's what he uses. So he doesn't even use a contact management system anymore.
Yeah, but you know, I've heard of a lot of things like that. The problem is that the platforms own all that information, and it'd be
Yeah, but
best
once you develop a relationship with somebody, you can connect with them via Skype,
Sure.
Facebook, and you can't own an individual. Although who knows, Big Brother might be turning that direction.
Yeah, but you want to be able to download all your contacts. It's just like LinkedIn just changed their policy now that you can download all the contacts again,
Yeah.
which is a big deal because you're connecting with them, they're connecting with you, so you want to be able to do that. You can't spam them with information and going, oh,
No,
by the way.
this guy doesn't do that. He creates a relationship,
Yeah.
and he's a big advocate of doing this real human interaction kind of thing. And that's what he's saying, is he doesn't have to send out an email newsletter. He just connects with them live and engages just like we're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm already 14 minutes into this, and of course we don't want to take too much people's valuable time commodity.
Yeah.
If you want to sign off and say anything else, I covered most of it, but now that you're here, tell us a little bit more about your webcams. And I know that you and I are working on some strategies of getting engagement in those cameras, so it's not just a one-way looking at the beach. It's actually people engaging.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to try to be able to reach out to people who are commenting on the camera. So yesterday I was actually, by surprise, went back to one of my cameras and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, there's a new comment, and it was a couple hours ago. So I re-commented him. It looks like he is in Roatan right now, so I haven't checked yet this morning, but I probably should to see if he commented on it. I told him my last name, and of course he has my first name, and said, just Google me and let's connect. But I haven't seen him connect yet. But that's something we need.
That's an interesting thing there, that I think a lot of people, they forget about things they've got up. Because didn't you say there was someone on there that you saw that they were interacting 6 months ago, and then they actually did visit the island?
Yeah, it was interesting, and it was cool because the people that actually were there before told this lady, hey, this is a great place to be. You need to take your vacation here, because she was complaining it was too cold. I think she was from New York or somewhere in the Northeast.
Well, they had a big storm up there last.
Yeah, there was a big. So she
one thing that
on the camera somehow. So
your camera people down there, I think that they are putting it up on their websites, and they're forgetting that it's actually interactive. They could go onto their, like Gary at West End. He should go on there and interact. Go on there and start talking with people. It's very possible that people are inquiring, and they should check that once a week or so, just to find out, like, see if there's some engagement going on.
Yeah, exactly. And there was that's the one actually. If you go here, oh, you can't see it here because I'm not sharing my screen. But
That's
at West End.
That's we can do another hangout on that at a later time. But right now we're 16 minutes after, and I like to keep these down to about 15 minutes so we don't take people's time. And then we can chat further and let this thing go up to the universe and propagate out to the world.
Sounds good. Sorry for being late. Technical difficulties.
That's okay. We got tomorrow. So peace, love, and happiness. Magic Brad signing off in Synergy.